Welcome to Sport Plus. I'm James, and this is the Hyundai i30 Sedan N. This thing is legit. No other way to say it. You know what this is? This car is a pugilist, and it packs a serious punch. This thing is just a tonic on the move. It is really surprising. I knew it was going to be good, but it's so fast. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? We've got Hyundai's Theta 2 unit, 2-litre, 4-cylinder, twin-scroll turbocharged, produces 206 kilowatts and 392 newton meters of torque. So it's around about 275 horsepower in the old money. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not too sure that Hyundai has been 100% genuine with those power figures. It feels stronger than 206 kilowatts. It feels like it's closer to 225 kilowatts, if you ask me. It is really fast. It's quite a boosty sort of motor. Above 3,000 RPM is when it really comes alive. Before that, you are sort of waiting for it to come on boost. I suppose while that can be frustrating at times, as long as you know that you need to be in the right gear, it's really exciting when it comes on boost, and it does keep surging strongly all the way to just shy of 7,000 RPM at its red line. It's quite a good sounding engine as well. Obviously, 2-litre 4-pot turbo. It's not going to be the most sonorous thing, but that being said, it is characterful. You've also got 3 modes for the engine: normal, sport, and sport plus. Hey! And that's the same 3 modes for the gearbox: normal, sport, sport plus. Around town, you've got 3 driver settings: eco, normal, and sport. And then you've got, thanks to these 2 big, beautiful blue buttons, you've got an added layer of configurability to this car. So for the exhaust, for the engine, for the gearbox, for the diff, for the dampers, just about everything with this car, you've got different modes and different levels of adjustability. So you can really tailor this thing depending on your driving style, or if you're on a twisty road, or if you've gone on track. You've got 2 different configurable settings thanks to these blue buttons here, and they're really, really handy. One thing that is a little bit iffy is you can choose different sounds to come through the cabin to make the car sound like different things, like a rally car or a TCR car. That's pretty gimmicky, and luckily you can just turn it off. I would recommend turning it off because it can sound a little bit odd at times. But overall, it's a really decent power plant. There's been no official 0 to 100 time from Hyundai, but other publications have figured this thing, and it's around the 5.5 second mark to 100, which is, it's quick for a front wheel drive car. That's really quick. Not sure if you can hear out the back now as well, but another party piece of this car is that exhaust. It is insanely loud. It's not just the ridiculous, fantastic pops and bangs that you're getting on the downshift and when you lift off throttle. It's just the note of the exhaust and just how loud it is, the decibel reading. What a joy this exhaust is. As an enthusiast, I really, really appreciate it, and it's something that this car's contemporaries don't offer. If you've got a turbo 4-pot, it should be cracking and popping and having, huge explosions from the exhaust all the time, because it just adds to the theatre of this car. And as theatricality goes, this is right up there. It's very impressive. So the power is sent to the front wheels via an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. It's Hyundai's wet clutch in-house gearbox. A 6-speed manual is a no-cost option for this car, but if it were my money, I would go for the dual clutch every day of the week. I'm sure it's not PDK quick, but it is pretty decent for what it is. You get this surge on upshifts, which is quite noticeable. I'm not sure if I like that 100%, but there's no denying that the shift itself is really quick. And on downshifts, you're getting a really nice blip of the throttle. Around town, the gearbox, if left in auto, does a pretty good job. It's not torque converter smooth, but I feel like the trade-off is a really, really quick shifting gearbox when you want to get on it, which is the whole remit of this car. This is a performance car. I'm happy for it to feel like it's sort of slipping the clutch around town in traffic, because the trade-off is, yeah, a genuinely, objectively impressive gearbox. So the power is sent to the front wheels via an electronically controlled mechanical limited slip diff. And there's 2 settings for the diff, normal and sport. In sport, it is so aggressive. It does that classic front wheel drive performance car thing with a mechanical diff where it just hunts down grip in a corner like a lion stalking a gazelle. You can genuinely pin it before the apex of a corner and this thing will just grip and just pull you around. It's such an amazing feeling, and it's something that's pretty unique to front wheel drive performance cars with a limited slip diff. I really enjoy it, and it just helps get all that power and all that torque down to the ground really efficiently. I'm a big fan of it. The steering in this car, it's really good, but it is dependent on what setting you have it in. So you have to leave it in its normal mode. If you leave it in the normal mode, it's a really quick rack, and it does add this feeling of agility to the car, which is lovely. If you go for Sport or Sport Plus for the steering, it's too artificially heavy, and I think it spoils the experience. Some people will like the reassurance of the heavier modes, but really all you need is normal. And look, it's an EPAS system, so it's never gonna be super feelsome, but in normal mode you've just got this agility and I guess a confidence from the front end, like you know exactly what it's going to do. Yeah, the rack is so fast and you've just got this up on its toes, ready to fight sort of attitude from the car, which is imbued through every single thing that you can feel and hear and experience. Although this has got quite humble underpinnings, Hyundai has done a hell of a lot to make sure that this thing doesn't feel like a standard economy car. There is a huge red strut brace over the rear axle, which adds 29% stiffness. There's polyurethane bushings at the front. There's reinforcement on the strut top, and the body itself has had a bunch more sort of strengthening, I guess you could say. And yeah, the net result is a body that feels really taut, really really up on its toes, and it gives you real confidence to push on. The chassis itself, because we're in the sedan, which is my preference, you've got a longer wheelbase. It's 2,720mm, which is 70mm more than the hatchback. And the extra length of the wheelbase, it gives you more confidence in the corners. I should have mentioned this before as well, the weight of the car. It's actually quite light, all things considered. So in its lightest form with the dual clutch, it's 1,480 kilos. And in an era where everything is starting to get really quite chonky and starting to have a bit of a chassis blowout, this thing feels quite light on its feet and just adds to the feeling of agility. It's very much appreciated. Wow! Working in conjunction with the stiffer body is adjustable dampers, electronically adjustable dampers. Hyundai, specifically for this car, went from a much more sort of basic suspension setup at the rear to multi-link, and that is hugely appreciated. And the electronically controlled dampers, there's 3 different settings, once again, normal, sport, and sport plus. They're really good and they offer a very wide bandwidth for what this car can do in comfort, on the road, on the highway, or just driving around town. There is good comfortability there. It's quite firmly sprung, but the damping is good. On a quick twisty road like I'm on now, You can't drive in normal mode though, because it allows too much vertical movement, and if you cop a mid-corner bump or something like that, it unsettles the car a fair bit. But that brings me on to the sport mode for the dampers. So the middle setting, that is essentially the not too hot, not too cold, just right mode for the dampers. It's pretty damn good for a twisty, dynamic road like I'm on right now. It does a great job, quells a lot of that vertical movement and keeps the car supremely flat and just gives you a feeling that this thing is planted and really does deal with the bumps quite well, like a one and done sort of thing. The most aggressive mode for the dampers, Sport Plus, it's reserved for the track in my opinion. It's too firm on the road, and I haven't driven this thing on track, but I can imagine on a billiard smooth Phillip Island, let's say, that the dampers in their most aggressive setting would be bloody awesome. That brings us on to another thing that I really like, and it's sort of quite surprising because on paper I wasn't really expecting too much, but it's the brakes in this car. They're a single piston all around, and even though it's only single piston, the braking in this car for me is really quite good. There's good modulation through the pedal. It's not super bitey immediately, which I really appreciate. And we're in the Otways, we're near the Great Ocean Road, and we've been driving this car on the Great Ocean Road, and there's a particular stretch between Lorne and Apollo Bay which is just serpentine asphalt spaghetti for 30-40 k's, and I've driven that road in this quite quickly and there's zero fade from the brake pedal, which is very impressive and gives me supreme confidence in the car to push on and know the thing's going to stop, and I know that I can feel what's going on at the front axle into a corner, which is really nice. We should talk about the tyres in this car as well, because they're really good. They're a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. They're a 245 35/19 squared all round, and that little HN that you can see, that means that it's been homologated for Hyundai. So Hyundai's gone to Michelin and had them collaborate with them to make the tyre compound specifically for this car, and it shows the all-weather performance of this car, the all-weather grip. On the road at least, I'm not sure how they'd fare on track before they overheated, but on the road, I'm not getting any sense that the tyres are overheating while driving dynamically. And, you know, once again, for the price point of this car, the fact that Hyundai's N engineers have gone to Michelin and homologated a bespoke tyre for the car, it's grouse. From where I'm sitting, the interior is quite nice. It's very driver-centric, the cabin. We've got two digital displays, one for infotainment, one for the dash, that integrate quite well. It seems to be becoming quite sort of homogenous in the car industry that you've got this two dash layout, but it's really appreciated, elevates the feeling of the cabin. Really importantly though, controlling the HVAC, controlling the heated and cooled seats, controlling the Bose stereo, all of that is done with physical, tangible buttons. None of this touchscreen haptic crap. It's all tactile and lovely, and it's hugely appreciated. I don't think it dates the way the cabin looks. I think it gives it a timeless feel, and you're not having to faff around with touchscreens and all this sort of nonsense. It's really good. The seats themselves, they're pretty decent. They're very comfortable. On a long drive, I'm not getting any pain whatsoever or discomfort. I would probably like a little bit more bolstering, and I find it weird that the i30N hatchback, you've got the option of those performance seats that you don't get with this car. I would prefer them. Personally, I wish I was sitting just a little bit lower. You're sort of sitting on top of the car rather than in it, but it's not too bad, and anyone that is watching this that's driven a bunch of hot hatches will know that most of the time you are sort of sitting in that high driving position, and you just get used to it and then it's completely fine. Exterior wise, the i30 Sedan N got an update for 2024, and that brought with it a new front fascia, which I think looks so much better than the pre-facelift car. It's not just aesthetic though, there have been some functional improvements made to the front of the car. Most importantly, there's extra air going to the brakes now, and there's extra air going to the engine, and like I was saying before, I'm not getting a whiff of brake fade in this car. The engine has felt strong the entire time, regardless of whether it's hot or cold outside. It's just felt really strong, which is nice. I think overall the exterior styling is great. You can't talk about competitors of this car without talking about this car's price point. This car can be had brand new with a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty for 55, 56 grand drive away. That's how cheap this car is. And in 2025, where 2 litres of milk, some sourdough bread and a dozen eggs cost you $50 at the supermarket, this thing is a bargain. An FL5 Civic Type R is 25 grand more than this car, and I struggle to reconcile that price gap because this thing is just so fast and it's so satisfying, it's so rewarding to drive. I wasn't expecting to like this car as much as I do. I knew it would be good because the hatch was great back in the day, but this is one of the best performance front wheel drive cars that I've driven, period, at any price point. And I've driven a fair few. Then when you lift off, you've just got artillery fire coming from the rear. What a thing. Anyway, in summation, guys, the Hyundai i30 Sedan N is supremely good value for under $60,000 here in Australia, and I can't believe that you're getting this much performance and versatility for the price point. It's very impressive. Anyway, I'm just going to keep on waffling on about this car until the end of time itself, so I better end it here. But thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. That does help quite a bit. And leave a comment and tell us what you want us to drive next. There are some great performance cars in the market at the moment. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao.